I'm Mr. Stephen Merchant.
And I'm Ms. Kirsten O'Brien, and this is The Edge. This week, we tell you how to make your own movie.
Do we? Good.
Yes, there's sound advice in The Crux.
Captain Cosmos is our astronomical expert.
There's the last in our environmental series, Generation Green.
Plus, the voluptuous DJ Double E spins the R&B.
Is she voluptuous? And top tunes from R.E.M., Britney Spears, Moby, and The Wannadies.
She's voluptuous compared to you, the lovely Kirsten O'Brien. It's all happening on The Edge. The Edge. You are wise to applaud as Kirsten O'Brien tries to show me that she is indeed voluptuous by flashing. Take them away, woman!
Look at them.
Take them away!
Look at them.
I can't look at them, I'll go blind!
Move your body, move your body, everybody, move your body, come on now everybody, move your body, everybody, come on now everybody, move your body, everybody, move your body, come on now everybody, move your body, everybody, come on now everybody.
The horror. I can't get them out of my mind, O'Brien.
Hey, that's made you millennium, eh?
The number of times, you've been in the audience quite a lot, haven't you? The number of times she's flashed her bits at me.
No way.
For some reason. Yeah, you're always doing it. Why are you so obsessed? There's nothing there to show me. I don't know why you're so keen to get it all out for people. There's nothing there to see.
Oh, don't say that. My bloke's listening today for the
Who is
first
it? What's
time
his
ever.
name?
Alan.
Alan?
Yeah.
Where is he?
Australia.
Why?
Holiday.
Holiday? I thought he was on holiday with you. How many holidays does he need? It's like, I'll take you to Bali for a week, Kirsten, then I'm off to Australia. Can I come? Well,
That's kind of what
he
happened.
probably got a girl in every port.
Oh, don't.
I bet he has. I bet he has.
You're awful.
Well, he's probably seen that, hasn't he? He's probably seen all that I just saw.
Well, I should hope he has.
Well, go on. Anyway, so you were in Bali. Sorry, I didn't...
Yes, it was
Is that how
lovely.
you pronounce it? Bali?
Bali.
And where is it? I've no idea.
It's Indonesia.
Right, good, was it?
Very lovely.
What did you do? Sit on a beach or...?
Sit by the pool, chat, drink wine, read books. Just, you know, bit of culture in the sun.
I was in Cuba.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, when it wasn't the Millennium Celebration.
Yeah, exactly. It was great. So we're quite... Because you're quite tastily tanned.
Yes, and you're
It's not bad. No, you notice I'm still as white as a sheep.
Dishevelled and... Don't you need a haircut, surely, by now?
Well, yeah, I do need a haircut, but do you notice I'm looking pretty good, aren't I, at the moment? Don't you think? With the glasses and everything, I think I'm looking pretty good. Because you came in this day, and I have to say, Kirsten, you normally look quite classy. But at the moment, you're looking a bit, I don't know, a bit ropey around the edges.
Am I?
I don't know why it is.
Listen, I wanted to ask you on a scale
It's
of...
the hair, I think.
Oh, don't.
Yeah.
I only had it done yesterday.
Well, and it's the ears, the little sticky out ears. If you could try and sort them out.
Listen,
Go on.
A scale of 1 to 10, because we haven't worked together for a while now, how much have you missed me? 1 being, who are you again? 10 being, I can't live my life without you. We've got to get married. We need children and eternal happiness.
4?
That's under half.
Yeah, I know. Do you feel quite low?
Yeah.
Let's introduce the first feature. O'Brien, have you ever fancied yourself as a bit of a Steven Spielberg, directing perhaps your own action-packed movie, but you haven't got the cash or the know-how?
I never have any, actually, but I'll crack on anyway.
Go on.
Even after 6 months, the movie world is still reeling from the massive success of the Blair Witch Project. Have you seen it?
No.
Oh, it's a cracking film. It cost just $30,000 to make, right? It was shot on cheap video by a couple of guys who no one had ever heard of. So now, it seems, everyone can make a blockbuster, as Ed Butler explains.
I just want to apologize to Mike's mom and Josh's mom and my mom. I am so sorry, because it is my fault, because it was my project.
Yes, just think of it. A couple of guys, 3 actors, and a camera. And there you have it. Horror to leave you quivering for more. So if, like me, you're tempted to fork out every last penny to live your dream, hold on 1 second. The news is not all good.
Statistically, there are very, very few of those 90-minute sort of homemade films, really, that actually do get shown. I mean, every year you might find 2, if you're lucky, in the country. That might be an exaggeration.
It's going to take a very long time, and it always takes longer than you think.
Having been writing scripts for probably 12, 13 years now, I've never written a script in under 8 months. It's just never happened. I think it takes a minimum amount of time to get a script right is 8 months, generally a year.
It's got to burn within you, really. If it's just something to do, then I would say get a job.
Yes, it's only fair to point out that making a film may not be that easy. But hey, all you budding Spielbergs, don't give up. Here's an easy-to-use guide on how to make a low-budget smash.
How to make a movie.
Oh my God. Say there was a disturbance, but everything's under control. Say it, or I will kill you. Without me, you got nobody to fly the plane. I never think that far ahead.
Stage 1. Write the script.
Movies begin and end with scripts. You can't make a decent film out of a bad script. You can make a bad film out of a decent script. So it's always worth spending more time on the script. Waiting, because you know secretly that it can be improved all the time. So just keep improving it.
Producer Magnus McIntyre, who last year shot a British film for $100,000. As someone very clever once said, the 3 rules of screenplays are structure, structure, and structure. But what does that mean? Director and writer Stefan Schwartz.
Basically means that your story is broken down into 3 sections. The first section sets up a problem, a character, and a way forward. The second act explores how maybe that problem's tackled, how the characters develop, and the third act rounds it all off and, gives you your nice ending. Very broadly, that's how it divides up.
So, anything else I need to remember, Magnus McIntyre?
Keep it tight, i.e., if you only have £100,000 or whatever, $200,000, it's not a good idea to, have a plane crash in the middle of the third act.
Mommy! Daddy, you've got to come see this! I found something!
It won't work for that kind of budget.
So, rule 1 of writing your movie, avoid big bangs if you don't want your movie to go down in flames. Plus, don't be tempted to think you've gone and scripted a masterpiece all by yourself. Get advice.
I think the ideal thing is to get a friend to give it to a friend of theirs and get them to read it and then talk to their friend, not to you. and then get the comments passed back. Because if you give it to an immediate friend, they'll just say it's great, because they don't want to lose you as a friend by saying it's crap. Or if they do say it's crap, you'll hate them for it. So always try and get one step removed in terms of getting it read.
Stage 2. Shoot the movie.
I'm now in a West London photographic shop with Alan Levy, who's a film editor and would-be director of low-budget movies. Alan, here we've got basically the equipment you need, right?
To shoot the film, yes. A small handheld DVC camera.
Now, how much does this cost?
£1,200.
So this is a camera which is like just the size of a couple of fists. It's pretty small equipment, isn't it?
You could almost make the case for it being one fist size, yeah. On the film I cut Thomas Katz, we shot any extra footage as we were editing the film after it had been shot on video. So if we were short of a few shots, take the camera out, pop into the tube, for example, if you need to get some shots with a video camera, film it, come back in, transfer it onto a more professional tape, and then edit it. End of story, that was it, done. There's the old Coppola adage that it's a kid walking around with a studio on his back, and that's true now. And you can actually walk around with it in your hand.
Do you think it's as simple as that?
No, of course it's not. It's because it's about the old things. It's always about the old things. It's about how good a script is, how good performances are. You know, Festin isn't a good film because it's made on an old, on a bit of dodgy video. It's a good film because the characters are great, the script is great, and it's shot in an interesting way, it's shot in an imaginative way, it's edited in an imaginative way, and that's been the case for the last 100 years. It's always been the same. I think some of the formats changed, and it's meant there's new ways to start to express some of ideas, but the ground rules are still the same.
So much for the technical side, but of course you will also need a producer. Julie Baines, a veteran of the low-budget movie, suggests a little thought before you reach for the camcorder.
If you're doing a contemporary piece that's maybe very young and hip or very realistic and gritty, then there's probably no reason why you shouldn't use video and then transfer it to film at the end if you're going to have a cinema release. On the other hand, if you were doing an absolutely gorgeous, rather arty period costume drama, then I would expect you to opt for 35mm. This is the best quality film that you could get hold of, really.
But exactly how are you going to make a movie for next to nothing?
Don't pay anybody. That's the absolute key to the whole low budget movie making process. And I don't mean run up false debts. I mean the deal is that everyone is doing something that they haven't previously done. They're doing it for a reason other than money. So, maybe there'll be a guy who had a sort of rather lowly job who wants to take the next step up, and no one seems to be giving him the opportunity to do it. Or, an actress who hasn't tried one particular kind of part, or, has only ever done bit parts and it's her chance to have a bit of screen time. Or, whatever it is, people have got to be doing it for reasons other than money, because it's the wage bill that's the killer.
Try to get at least one member of that team, preferably a director of photography, cameraman, or maybe a first assistant director who is experienced. And often you can. I mean, if people are between jobs, often people will work for very little or sometimes for nothing. I mean, I would certainly set out to try to get at least one experienced person in there that's going to support everyone else through it.
So there's your crew. And then, of course, there's you, the first-time director, about to break every filmmaking rule in the book, because you don't know what you're doing. Stefan Schwartz says, take it easy.
You'll never shoot the film that you wrote. You'll always shoot a compromised version of the film that you wrote. And that doesn't matter what budget you're on. I've had shot 3 films on 3 different budgets. I always compromise. But you try and use that compromise to make the film better rather than to go, I'm just not getting what I want, I'll give up.
The schedules will be so tight that, for example, there is unlikely to be any rain cover. So you need to do a lot of praying and hoping that it doesn't rain at the wrong times, or that it does rain at the right time. For example, you can't afford a rain machine. I mean, there are 1,001 things that can go wrong, and most of them do.
But while those around you are losing their heads, keep a hold of yours with a joke and a smile.
Be nice to everyone. It's the key thing. Feed them well is number 2, and keep them warm is number 3.
Stage 3. Edit the movie.
editing's one of those things you do constantly learn. It's a craft. It's a real craft, and like all crafts, you can be good at it. You can have a gift for it. You can be quick at it, but you can still learn lots of different tricks of the trade. You don't need to be a greybeard to do it. You be bold, break the rule. I'll tell you what it is. It's that you kind of need to know the rules before you can break the rules.
But you can cut a film cheaply now.
Yeah, you can cut a film to the point where it's viewable on a sort of rough cut, but to get it to something which people would be happy to see in a cinema takes a lot of money. And what you'll see very often is you'll see the films like El Mariachi, Blair Witch Project, where not very much money is necessarily being spent on filming it, but someone somewhere at a studio has picked up a bill that will run up to the $1 million just to do the post-production.
Music, glossy graphics, and if you're lucky, special effects can all be part of post-production. But Stefan Schwartz says don't bank on getting lots of extra cash. If you want your film to get anywhere, cut as much as you can yourself.
Edit on your PC, because that's what's going to sell the film. A bunch of footage isn't going to sell the film. It's how you put it together that's going to sell the film. So I would get we've shown films half done before and people have hated them, and then we've showed them finished and they've loved them. It's all about trying to get it as polished and as good as it can be.
Well, there you are. Easy it certainly won't be. So with all this trouble and expense, even at the low-budget end of filmmaking, is it really worth the trouble? Aren't the odds stacked against my film even getting seen?
There are an enormous amount of movies on the shelf, but there's always the video market. There's always television, and if you're cunning about it, and if your film is in any way decent, it ought to be possible to get a low-budget film to make its money back, because after all, it didn't cost very much in the first place.
For me, I wouldn't say you must go rushing out and make a 90-minute film necessarily as your first film. I think that if you make an excellent short film, or two preferably, you will get your feature-length film, and you'll get one that's properly produced and properly financed. So my recommendation really would be to try and have a go at a short film first, and try to make the best quality short film possible.
Try it out. It's so much fun, and it is very easy. Just get a bunch of friends, doesn't matter if they've acted before, and just try it out over a weekend. Write a script, 4-page script, and shoot it. But definitely give it a shot, because it's great fun.
If you've got something that you want to say and it's going to be interesting, it's going to scare people, make people laugh, make people cry, all the old corny stuff, then go for it. It doesn't matter if you're a 12-year-old with a DVC camera or Steven Spielberg. I mean, he's only a 12-year-old as well, but he's just got a very, very big camera.
Hear my cry, hear my call, give me your ears, see my fall, see my error, know my fault, time halt, see my loss.
Is he?
What?
Is he only 12?
Apparently, yeah. No, he's a boy wonder. Ed Butler's Guide to Movie Making there with no cash. Actually, we should make a film, O'Brien. Why don't you just come round to my place over the weekend and we'll put something together. Actually, bring DJ Double A. It'd be quite nice. We could get a little film together. Don't worry, we won't make it write a script or anything. We'll just make it up as we go along.
You didn't listen to that feature, did you? That was one of the rules of things not to do.
Right. Yeah. But I'm not really interested in plot or story in mine. It's more about, there's other ideas I've got. Other ideas. Just bring stuff along, and any other female friends you've got, and we'll see what we can cook up over the weekend. I always joke about I always joke about you not looking very good, but I mean, really, you're not looking good at the moment.
Really?
I know, it's terrible to say, because I am actually looking quite good at the moment. I'm looking pretty sexy.
I have to concede, you are looking slightly hotter than normal.
I'm looking a bit handsome. What did you say earlier? You said to me, you are looking noticeably handsome.
More handsome, yes.
Noticeably more handsome.
I think it's the slightly longer hairdo.
Slightly longer hair?
But then I do long hair, so maybe.
Yeah. Do you fancy me now? Just come out and say it. Do you fancy me? No, come on. There's no harm in it. It's fine if you do. No, but I am
perturbed that I find you slightly attractive.
Hey, come on!
Well, look at my brown legs.
Yeah.
Are they not nice?
No, they're just... stop showing me bits of your body, all right? Wrap up. The head is fine. I can just about cope with the head.
I've got white bits.
I don't want to see your white bits. Just be quiet. Let me move on. We've got all sorts of stuff, but we've got this, The Wannadies, a new single from them. Yeah.
by the Wannadies. I quite like that.
Yes, are you?
Oh, good.
Do your job, O'Brien. Just, will you just do the job and just talk and read the script?
It's not fair of you today when I've got someone listening to be nasty to me. I'm going to show how good I can be now. Listen to this and weep. Specially trained elephants have been used by
No, don't rush it. Start again. Do it properly.
Oh, you're so rotten.
Come on, we haven't got enough time for this.
Specially trained elephants.
Go now.
Dave,
Sorry.
shut up.
I know. It's my fault. Go now.
Go in the corner of the room.
Start now.
I'm
Go
not
quick.
looking
We're
at you.
already over. We haven't got time. We got to drop a record or something. Quick, just read it.
Shut up.
All right, do it. Go on.
Right. I can't.
I know. All right, I'll do it. Specially trained elephants have been used by their carers, or mahouts, for years in Thailand to help with heavy work. But since logging has been made illegal, the way they have been treated has changed dramatically. It almost worked. But come on.
Recently, Matola, a veteran logging elephant in Thailand, lost a foot by stepping on a landmine. Although this is not a common injury for elephants, the animals used in illegal logging can suffer from overwork. Some are even drugged with amphetamines to make them work for longer. Paul Welsh reports. You see, I can do it.
Deep in Thailand's jungle, elephant handlers are taking us to see an animal that was crippled working in an illegal trade. She lives semi-wild in the forest around an elephant hospital in the north of the country at Pangla. The mahouts trek half an hour a day to check on her and know exactly where to find her. Vets have done all they can for her since her leg was crushed by the tree trunks she was hauling during illegal logging 3 years ago. There are elephants like her scattered throughout this area of the forest, finding their own food as they recover from their sickness or injury. Every morning, those that need special treatment are brought out of the jungle to the hospital itself in a forest clearing. Here, they're examined and given medicines by the vets. At the moment, they're caring for around 30 elephants in all. Out of every 4 elephants in this hospital, 3 are here because they've been badly treated, helping to cut down trees illegally in Thailand's forests. When they arrive, they're often very thin and sick through overwork and mistreatment. There's a steady stream of new arrivals at the centre. The vets say many of them are in a condition never seen 10 years ago, and they believe some of them have been drugged with amphetamines by illegal loggers to make them work harder and longer. Logging used to be one of Thailand's biggest businesses. Wood like teak growing freely throughout the country is prized around the world for its strength and beautiful colour. Elephants traditionally played a major role in logging. Their strength made easy work of hauling the desperately heavy and valuable trees out of the forest. But now, many elephants pushed into illegal logging are overworked and mistreated, according to animal campaigners like Saraida Silwala.
Well, elephants, they are very, very delicate, despite their big build. They shouldn't be working after noontime. They should stop. But during the illegal logging, they tend to work from morning till night, and they work like 24 hours. And the elephants are very exhausted. So despite all that, then they give the elephants the amphetamine.
This small unit of rangers is one of a handful expected to patrol and protect forests across the north of Thailand, a country twice the size of Britain. The rangers plan their operations around reports of illegal logging in the jungle, but a lot of loggers work at night to avoid being caught. This unit arrested only 80 people last year, and they rarely manage to rescue elephants from the depths of the jungle. Today, they're taking us with them on their search for illegal loggers and the elephants that they use. It isn't long before the ranger's experienced eye spots the telltale signs that loggers have been at work here. In clearings, he sees recently cut tree trunks lying haphazardly on the ground. If he spots anyone working, troops are on standby to speed out to the area. But the very sight and sound of the helicopter stops some loggers in their tracks.
Every day the helicopter goes up searching for people illegally cutting down trees. But the forest is huge and finding people is difficult. Today we found evidence of logging, trees that have been cut down and been prepared to be taken away, but we haven't caught anybody in the act.
Thai television reports their successes. Here they've seized £100,000 worth of teak being made into window frames and doors. But everyone involved has made a clean escape, leaving their equipment behind. Raids into the jungle are dangerous and rare. This training exercise shows how loggers are normally tackled. Lookouts spot a ranger pretending to be a logger on the road and radio ahead to an armed checkpoint. As the van rounds a bend, the rangers signal it to stop. Loggers rarely do, and as they race past, the trap is sprung. Ahead of the car and behind, the spiked rails are dragged completely across the road. At checkpoint 2, the rangers storm the vehicle. But it's rarely as simple as this. The loggers are often heavily armed and easily outgun the police. The rangers only managed to seize a small amount of all the wood illegally cut down. Last year, 3 rangers were killed as loggers fought to keep their haul, worth almost £2,000 a tree. Confiscated vehicles bear the marks of fierce gun battles. The Director General of Thailand's Royal Forest Department, Mr. Pong Lengi, says the government is doing its best.
I'm worried a lot about our forests. So much has been destroyed, and our campaigns to grow more will take many years. Our national forest land is now strictly conserved, and we're trying to educate people who own their own land about the importance of saving forests.
This baby is little more than a month old. She's one of only 2,000 elephants in captivity in Thailand. About the same number are left in the wild. 100 years ago, the number of working elephants alone was more than 100,000. Once, elephants were so important to the country, they symbolized the nation and even featured on the flag. But as Thailand's become more advanced, the people's need for working elephants has slowly fallen away. There's little left now except logging shows and rides through the jungle.
With the number of wild and working elephants going down all the time, tourism may now be the only real hope of survival for elephants in this part of the world.
But as long as illegal logging is allowed to continue, many of the country's remaining working elephants will continue to suffer. And the rainforest will continue to shrink, threatening the very existence of these magnificent creatures in the wild.
That report from Paul Welch.
You've just made me miserable, you know.
Really?
It's the first show of the millennium working together.
Yeah.
I was all excited because I've had a week off.
Yes.
And I'm trying to impress me bloke on the other side of the world, and you're just trying to make it look like a gibbon.
I'm not making you look like a gibbon, it's yourself. It's always you that does it. You do this every week. This is an actual representation of what the show's normally like. Oh, come on, Kirsten, you can't say you're a pro, really. You can barely string a sentence together. Oh, come on. I mean that in a flattering way. I mean that in the best way. The best sense of it.
This is the Edge from the BBC World Service.
Good, just stick to the script. Still to come, Captain Cosmos answers your outer space queries.
DJ Double E will be spinning the R&B.
You've done all right, you've done okay. And we answer your relationship problems in The Crux. All right, that went okay, that went fine. He'll be impressed by that. You know, no, I think that was good. Anyway, let's have some music from a new British boy band,
Why are you introducing all the music?
And Set Me Free. Shut up.
Why don't you set me free to love, free to believe, free to see. Is fair in love, there need not be a solution. Finding words to say, spoken often in confusion. A higher love that we once had, now it's broken. Pushes the said I did for you. Oh, I did for you. How you lived your life, I've been through. Now set free, free to love, free to believe, and free to see, free to start, again to breathe, free to believe. Set me free, set me free. Sure, the winds of change blow in favor of the loser. I would rearrange, no longer forced by the user. Heaven only knows the hours I spent in desperation, searching for the path, way to flee to my salvation. Whatever you want and said, I did for you. I did for you. I did for you. However you lived your life, I've been true. Now set me free.
There's Britpack, a new British boy band there, Set Me Free.
Oh, Brian, what's your fella's name who's listening?
Alan.
Alan, all right, Alan, listen up. It's time for your bit of totty, your bit of British crumpet to sort out everyone's personal problems in The Crux.
Stories on the edge with the Crux.
Yes, Crux time again. Time for our monthly problem page. And Lola Borg is here as ever. Hello, Kirsten. And Nick Fisher again.
Hello, Kirsten.
Nice flash shirt. You come dressed up this week.
It's it's that time of year.
Made an effort.
Yeah. You've got to, haven't you? You've got to look your best.
Niceties out of the way. This is the bit where we quite literally make a drama out of a crisis. What's in the post bag this month? Has it been bulging?
Well, interestingly, it has been bulging.
It's always
Sacks have
bulging.
been bulging.
It's always bulging.
But this week, or rather this month, what we really want to look at are friendships. And we're often looking at friendship, but this is like when your best friend is sort of getting one over on you all the time. She seems to be making lots of demands upon you, never really giving anything back.
How many demands a friend can make, really? Becky and Alison are best friends. They're old friends. And tonight they're out on the town. Becky's up for a good time. That is, as long as it's okay with Alison.
The Crux.
Listen, Ali, maybe we should start calling each other in the mornings. What? Well, look at us. Same top, same jeans, even the shoes. God, Bex, are we the fashion victims? No, we just share impeccable taste.
Hi, can I buy you a drink?
We're fine, thank you.
What about a car?
For sure.
I wasn't actually talking to you.
We come as a pair. What?
Well, I was just thinking about the mathematical possibilities.
Come on, Bex. All right. Perhaps see you later.
Maybe you might want to lose your minder.
Hey, Ali, isn't this great? Well, not really. What's the matter with you? Nothing. Is it because that fella came up to me? No. It is, isn't it? He came to talk to me, not you. Rubbish. For once, the taller, prettier one was left standing, and me, the mousy one, am plucked from the shadows. I'm off. Are you coming? Hey, Bex. We'll get him to drop me off first, yeah? I want to get a good night's sleep. Whatever. Excuse me, can you go to Thompson Street first, then on to West Houston? He was quite cute, though, don't you think? What? Oh, God, no. I saw him under the lights. It was a nightmare. Blah. I thought he was nice. Do you think I'd look good as a blonde? Yeah, anywhere here's fine. Okay, bye, Bex. I'll give you some money for the... Oh, look, I've got no change. Can you get it? I suppose. Bye, Bex. Bye. West Houston, please.
That's a relief.
What's that?
Well, there must have been a bit of a squeeze back there.
Hey?
Well, with you here and a big fat ego.
Yeah. It's funny. But it's often nicer when she's gone. How strange, and an analytical cabbie there.
They have cheeky. They have drivers up there. Cheeky.
Good.
Hey, that's my best mate you're talking about, Mr. Cab Driver.
I'm surprised Becky hasn't noticed before, actually,
What the
Alison's
size-
like.
Well, you know what? Sometimes this happens, that you're friends for such a long time that you get into this rhythm of things, and then one day you think, well, actually, they're being a bit unreasonable here, and it's taken me years to realise this. Maybe that's what's happened here.
Yeah,
with Becky. Maybe she's just fed up with Alison.
These things are for a reason, and it may be that you have a kind of a bit of a one-sided relationship, and she is, a bit egotistical and a bit sort of demanding. But she's kind of also the life and soul. You wouldn't do half the things you do if it wasn't for the fact that you had this big friend who's all yeah, and out there doing it, and you're in her wake a lot of the time. And maybe there does come a point when you actually have to sort of, overtake her or make your own waves, or whatever the metaphor that we're going to use today is. I mean, I suppose the sort of warning signs are things like the jealousy. Is Alison actually incapable of allowing Becky to grow up or grow beyond her? All that business of like, oh no, he's a dog, you don't have anything to do with him.
Yeah.
Is that because she wants to stop her friend from having her own life, from having her own power?
That's where she holds the power, isn't it? By putting her down. She keeps Alison keeps the power.
Yeah, or maybe it's just a question of not wanting anyone else to be in the limelight. Not power as much as just the spotlight is normally on her and what she thinks, she feels, she does, People look at her, she's the prettier one, etc. And maybe she just enjoys that attention and doesn't want it to end. Who knows?
Let's see, shall we, what Becky decides to do. Is she going to step out of Alison's shadow? Here's part 2.
There you are, Ali.
Hi, Bess.
I've just about given up on you. We've just got time to grab some popcorn before the film starts.
There's been a slight change of plan.
Really?
Yeah, you see, I met this guy, Phil. He plays with this band.
When was this?
Last night. I went out to the pub. Only planned to stay half an hour. Ended up staying all night.
I wish you'd called. I was bored stiff.
Oh, I didn't think.
Right. So, where are you going now?
Well, Phil's got another gig and he asked me to go along. He's an awesome guitarist.
Can I come along? Maybe he's got an awesome drummer I could, get rhythmic with.
Well, it's not really your sort of thing.
What isn't?
Well, the music, it's a bit... Well, it's not your thing. Listen, I've got to go. I'll call you, okay?
Rum and Coke, please.
Hello again.
Sorry?
We met a few weeks ago. Seem to remember I offered to buy you a car. I was a bit drunk. I'm Guy, by the way.
Becky?
Where's your pal tonight?
Oh, she started seeing this guitarist. 3 weeks it is. She's heading for a personal best. I've never been here on my own before, but I was getting fed up with waiting for her to call. I feel a bit exposed in here.
Should have worn a jumper.
Silly, isn't it? I've got so used to going out as a pair. I feel a bit odd.
It's like getting like a cattle market in here. Girls dancing, guys just standing around trying to look cool.
Are you trying to look cool?
God, no.
That's mine. How uncool is that little phone going off?
Oh no, that's cool. Last week it was definitely uncool, but this week...
I normally have it on vibrate.
George, you are lonely.
Hello?
It's me.
Oh, hi, how are you?
It's Alison. He stumped me.
No.
Can you come over?
Well, I'm kind of busy.
Oh, please. I need to talk to someone.
So I'll call you, okay?
That would be great. Listen, I better go. She'll sulk.
Ever seen your friend change a light bulb?
What?
My guess is she'd hold on to the bulb and expect the world to revolve around her.
See ya. Thompson Street, please, quick as you can.
So Alison seems to just pick Becky up and drop her again, as and when she feels like it, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does, actually.
It's a common problem that you get situations where best friends, when one of them falls in love or has a relationship, whether they are boys or girls, and they start to have a special relationship with somebody else, they do it at the detriment and the expense of that first relationship. And sometimes the closer you are to a friend, the less care you take of them, because you think, oh, they'll understand. It's as important to them that I'm having this fabulous romance. They won't care. They really want me to be happy, so I can just use them, abuse them, drop them, and ring them up and take them whenever I want them. And it won't matter. But in fact, it's deeply hurtful.
It's deeply hurtful, and it is very important to maintain your relationships. I mean, however deeply in love you've fallen with, what was it? A guitarist.
Phil.
Phil the guitarist.
He's
you
an
know,
awesome guitarist.
spare a thought. Well, he might be awesome, but you've got to spare a thought for your existing friends. And I think Alison has forgotten this altogether. Mind you, not that she was that kind of caring, sharing in the first place.
Have we all been in a situation where a friend, somebody that you spent a lot of time with, suddenly gets a boyfriend or a girlfriend?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and it's worse when you're still single, isn't it?
Yeah, that is, yeah.
It's even more.
Yeah.
And what do you do about it? What have you done about it?
He's off, Lola. He's asking me again.
He's after you. I'm glad he's not asking me.
Slip it
Have
in.
you ever said, "Oi, what about me?"
No, because usually my friendships are solid, and eventually she'll come back out of it. But I don't think Alison was ever solidly into Becky at the start.
But what you're saying then is that you'll suffer in silence. You'll suffer the indignities and the disloyalty of their relationship, knowing that she'll come back to you in the end.
Yep.
You never address it while it's happening.
No.
Well, I think it's very difficult to say something, isn't it? Because you don't want to spoil somebody else's good time, That's the problem. You don't want to kind of rain on their parade, really. So it's very hard in this situation to say, you're spending too much time with him.
And even though Becky's been left at the cinema and not allowed to go to the concert, she is now en route to help her mate out. So shall we see whether she's going to allow herself to be taken for granted again, or stand up to Alison in the final part of the crux? Who is it?
It's Bex.
Oh, hang on. Hang on. He phoned. What? Bill phoned me. It's been a mistake. He wants to see me. He's coming over. I thought that was him when you rang the buzzer.
So what happened to all the blubbing?
What?
Well, when you phoned me, it sounded as if the world was coming to an end.
Oh, I'm fine now.
I sometimes feel like I'm only here to make you feel better. Sometimes, just sometimes, I'd like to feel like you wanted to see me for me, not what I could do for you.
What are you talking about? You'd have no social life if it wasn't for me.
That's not true.
It's always been the same. Right through school, I was always taking you out.
Taking me out? You make me sound like a dog being taken out for a walk. Are you calling me a dog?
Go on. Shoo. Shoo. Phil's going to be here in a minute. I want you well out of the way before he gets here.
All right. I'm going. Hey, how come it's so dark in your hallway?
The bulb's gone. I tried to change it, but I don't know. I'm not much good with stuff like that.
Look, Rachel, it's none of my business, I guess, but maybe you need to get away. Cut loose. Clean break. And other snappy phrases.
I know, but she's my best friend. I've known her for, God knows, forever.
Well, one thing's for sure.
What?
She loved the fact that we talked about her so much.
That's it. There we have it, the crux of the problem this month. Alison's such a bossy minx.
She is, isn't she? I mean, I think the only thing with people like Alison is you just have to accept them for what they are. I mean, she's not really going to change in a big hurry.
Do you think? Can she?
Well, I think she's always going to be self-centred, selfish, all those other words beginning with S that I can't think of. And I don't think she's going to change that dramatically. I mean, I think it was quite good that Bex said something.
Yeah,
Said, at last she just said, hang on a minute, actually, I'm fed up with this. But I think, maybe she just needs to widen her social circle, start looking for other friends. She can still go out with Alison and accept all the good things about her, but, I think it is important. I don't think Alison is going to change dramatically here.
Here is this girl who 1 minute doesn't want you, next minute there is a drama in her life, a loss in her life, and she wants you to come in and fill that up and to make her feel better. And I think it was actually very sweet that she came out and said those things like, you only seem to want me when it's good for you. And they had that little sort of exchange and came out of it still friends and came out of it still laughing. And you're absolutely right, she should widen her circle of friends, but at least she did to some extent address the situation.
Yeah, which is important, I think.
I think realistically she's the kind of best friend that you probably is quite long lasting, because she's quite a lot of fun. She's out there living a life. You probably always want to know her. Do you know what I mean? In some way, to think that she thinks of you as a friend, because she's going to give you something in your life. And yes, she's not perfect, But I kind of liked her.
She's not going to be the first one, beating a path to your door with a packet of Kleenex when you've had a broken romance. I mean, this situation is not going to work in reverse.
In reverse, good point.
Yeah. So you just have to accept that that's not the way it's going to be, and if you can accept those limitations, then it can work.
So have either of you got friends who that it always seems to be like you give. I don't mean give in a kind of a big way, but just like you're always the ear for them. They're the one that's always coming to you with the story.